Let's start off with the edge position. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're interesting because look at their cap space. They rank last. They're -2 cap space, and they have big-time free agents on the market. Bud Dupree and Javon Hargrave are both free agents, and both are going to likely leave. I mean, you might franchise tag Bud Dupree, I've heard, but other than that, I think Hargrave is just about out the building already, and I think he's going to make money because he's a good player. So, taking that into consideration, let's say that Bud Dupree leaves and Javon Hargrave leave. They both leave. I think you need to look at the edge position number 1. If Bud Dupree's back, your edge position's fine. But I think you need to look at some lower tier guys that are good in the 3-4. I think a Carl Nassib would be a perfect scheme fit. I think a Jordan Jenkins would be a perfect scheme fit. Who else would be a great scheme fit? Fackrell from the Packers, I think, would be good. Maybe like Addison from the Panthers. There's some names. Bruce Irvin. I think, though, what they're probably going to do is if they can't get one of those lower tier guys, they're going to draft an edge guy. And I think they'll probably bring in a couple veteran interior defensive linemen. Although I don't think they're bad in terms of like some of their depth guys they have there. Like Alu, Bugs. I think they have decent players that could replace Hargrave. I just don't think they'll have nearly the same impact as Hargrave. But I could see them bringing in a veteran interior defensive lineman, nose tackle type, because they don't cost a lot of money, and I think they could end up doing that. But corner, I think you're decent at. Not great, but you're set. Safety, I think, is an underrated need. Sean Davis is a free agent, and Terrell Edmonds has not been getting it done. That might be a draft need to compete with Edmonds, though, or a veteran lower-tier signing. Maybe like a guy like Jeff Heath, or like Tavon Wilson, or maybe like a Carl Joseph. One of those type of strong safeties that could come in for a lower tier number that could challenge. I don't think you're going to get rid of Vance McDonald at tight end. I think he's a good player when he has been. Receiver, you're great at drafting receivers. I think offensive line, you're actually pretty good there, but you are getting older. I think this is a spot where you draft at, you don't sign at, because a lot of these guys on the offensive line are older in free agency. Quarterback, I think, is a second next year need, not this year. If you could somehow get cap space, I think running back is open. Like, if you could somehow get Melvin Gordon, that would be an amazing signing. But I don't think, like, personally, I think that would be a great signing because I think he would be a huge upgrade, and I think he would really benefit from this offensive line, and you would have a great balance on your offense. I just don't think James Conner's been getting it done. Jalen Samuels is okay as a backup, but not as a starter. I would really like to see them get a running back, but I don't think they have the money to get a free agent running back. Wide receiver, I like Juju, but he's not what we thought he would be. I really like Johnson, and Washington's okay. But I think adding another receiver somehow, probably in the draft, would be a great way to go. So the Steelers are hard to talk about because they don't have the current cap space. But when looking at their needs, they're a team that's very well set for next year. They just need to hopefully bring back Bud Dupree, but if they can't, bring back some under-the-radar veteran names that will play for cheap. This team is very talented. With Ben back, they should be in the playoff conversation, and they're one or two pieces away from being a real AFC contender if Ben is back to being Ben. So there you go, Pittsburgh Steelers.